Have any of you heard about murmuration? You should look it up. It's totally breathtaking, but obviously right now, like do that later. I want you to stay here with me later. It's basically bird flocking quantified to the awesometh power. It's starlings communing through flying and swirling like one transcendent entity. They move in a fluid choreographic flux on the constant brink of whoosh, next shift, next shift, next shift. And each of these shifts is called a critical transition. A murmuration of thousands of starlings tuned into each other's movements through the phenomenon of scale-free correlation. Each bird tuned into the next 7 birds nearest to them, and then the next 7, and the next 7. Look. Even Charles Darwin said survival of the fittest was a misapprehension of his findings. Even he believed in the holistic, was awed by the elaborate and elegant interdependence of nature. From abiogenesis all the way to present day, from subatomic particles to the entire biosphere. It's emergence that encourages evolution. Kill or be killed is a lie of the mind, an outdated paradigm, a flak jacket that can't keep out light. Let us take flight toward our final destination of wild and untamable kindness. The journey is long and travels forward and backward in time. It's a bumpy ride, but the upshot is we can't not try. I'm talking directly to the tiny little you who lives inside of you, reminding you of all the truth you once knew you knew implicitly, returning you to your previous innocence, restoring your clarity, because kindness is your true nature, and I promise anything beyond that has been inculcated. Truthfully, separation itself is an illusion doubly brewed in the hateful culture stew we have all been cooking in. And despite the desire to stay in denial, it's bubbling up to the surface. What I'm saying is, there's way more work for us to do. Don't get lulled into complacency by the fact that you feel compassion. Kindness is action. Not just that, as a matter of fact, kindness is actually a radical act in this hard scrabble and roughshod, crapshoot, sneak attack of a life spilling with inner demons and double dealings. Kindness transcends mere feelings. It digs in the dirt, is vulnerable enough to rebel, is rebellious enough to be vulnerable, is braver than hurled insults, is confident enough to be patient, calls forth the great recalibration, an attunement to the taste of sweetness that calls from within. If you're currently in life's trenches, please get this. Kindness is your weapon, your best defense, your greatest defiance. This ain't rocket science. I don't care what your tribe is. The surprise is that kindness does not equal weakness. Actually, it's meanness that requires an Achilles heel to sting. Do not be deceived. Meanness preys on your insecurity, offers false surety, walls off and masks, distracts from the little voice inside that's calling for acknowledgement, is needful of healing. All of this neglect and emotional starvation based on pattern repetition so ancient, its tread raw and bloody crop circles upon your throbbing heart. Behind every protective wall of defensiveness is a frightened child fearing for their very life. Do not withhold the kindness that is longing to flow through you. Give it away. Be brave enough to topple your facades. Repurpose them as bridges. Span the division. Once you've been on the brink, stared into the abyss, no matter the flavor of your personal chasm of darkness, kindness becomes your soul's own prerequisite. Once you've been to the bottom, you can recognize salvation in simplicity. The merciful intoxication from the swoon perfume of orange blossoms, the awe possible from a sky ablaze with the murmuration of starlings, the heart-rending generosity of unguarded eye contact. This injurious journey is filled with hair-triggered, human-ticking trauma bombs who only want to be loved in a way they can understand it, waiting for someone to say, "Show me where it hurts," and then give them the chance to answer. Do not withhold the kindness that is longing to flow through you. Do not withhold the kindness that is longing to flow through you. Do not withhold the kindness that is longing to flow through you. In this very moment, you could choose to say yes. You could choose gentleness. Even though you like it rough, even though life's made you tough, you could choose to stop all the naysaying. Who are you to discourage anyone, yourself very much included? In this very moment, you could choose to be grace. You could choose the alchemy that awaits your bravery. Spin your entire existence into endless golden thread. In this very moment, you could choose to say yes. You could put your hand on your chest. On your heart. On your throat. On your cheek. You could let that little voice within you speak, and this time you could listen. Give yourself the gift of presence. In this very moment, you could choose to say yes. In this very moment, you could choose to say yes. Let this newfound gift of presence warm like caramel taffy in your hands. Let it expand wider to encompass the person in the Zoom window next to you and the person in the Zoom window on the other side of you. And then the next 7 people closest to you. And then the next 7. And then the next 7. And then the whole room you find yourself in. Let it grow in your inclusion, past all blooming, past all human, past every last murmuration of starlings, until your soul is a whole swarm of moonbeams, filling this universe with your unique, super sweet, and deeply needed illumination.